This episode brought to you by HelloFresh. Delicious pre-measured ingredients and simple chef-made recipes delivered to your doorstep every week. Hello, I'm the Nostalgia Critic. I remember so you don't have to. Apologies, you've caught me in the middle of kind of an embarrassing therapy session.
Now, Critic, there's nothing wrong with therapy.
But this just seems so silly.
Critic, as the world's most sought-after first world problem psychiatrist, I've heard it all.
Dr. Pity, your 5 o'clock says her best friend didn't like her Instagram post.
Tell her that's a class 2 emergency. I'm only taking class 3s for now.
I just have what seems like a little problem, but I just know I'm blowing it out of proportion.
Dr. Pity, your 6 o'clock says a Starbucks barista got his name wrong.
Move him up to 4.
How do you deal with something like this?
Well, have you portrayed yourself as both the hero and the victim?
Yes.
Have you complained on social media instead of talking to friends?
Of course.
Have you declared your life as just like that drama Curb Your Enthusiasm?
Yes, I've done all of that.
Dr. Pity, your 2 o'clock says they saw a black person in the park.
And?
That's it.
Tell her to drink a bottle of Raid and all will be right with the world.
Doctor, is there any hope for me?
Well, I don't think you've said yet what the actual problem is.
Oh, yes, of course, sorry. You see, I started Terminator Month, and Terminator 2 might be too perfect a movie for me to critique.
Did you hear that prescription of Raid I gave earlier?
Yeah.
So you probably wouldn't fall for that.
I'm gonna say no. There's a bit of a stigma against action movies. Oh, not from the general public, they're popular as hell. I'm talking about with critics and film historians. While everyone agrees they're often a lot of fun, they're not given much attention as great art. There are some that break the mold, pushing complex stories and characters, but for the most part, action films are seen as just an enjoyable waste of time. This is a shame because 1991's Terminator 2 Judgment Day is about as flawless an action film as you can get. Big on mind-blowing ideas? Not especially. Characters as complex as Tennessee Williams? I wouldn't go that far. But think of comedies that Buster Keaton and Charlie Chaplin did. Some are deep and meaningful, but others just give people a good time in the most spectacular way, and they're hailed as classics. Terminator 2 is a classic in the same way. It pushes the envelope not just in technology, but also stunts, imagination, and clever storytelling. It's one of those films that's hard to find anything wrong with it. And this is a movie that stars the Jingle All the Way guy as an intimidating killing machine, with an accent nobody ever questions. I enjoy using comedy as a means to review something because I think it can offer a unique and interesting point of view. But I'm not gonna lie, it's gotta be tricky using comedy to review something that I think is virtually flawless.
Well, Critic, the answer is clear. Just do your best to review it.
You think so?
Yes. If it doesn't work, the internet is always open and kind. I'm sure they'll forgive you.
That's true. I did underestimate the loving nature of online culture.
So give it your best and never call here again.
Will do, Doctor.
Dr. Pity, your 1 o'clock says he had to make small talk and didn't know what to talk about.
Cancel all my appointments. I'll see him right away.
Yes, Doctor.
Hello? I'm listening.
She said she never saw any of my movies. I didn't know what to do.
Let's take a look at what I consider an action masterpiece. This is Terminator 2 Judgment Day. The film opens familiarly enough with the future still being in ashes. I think this film had a bit more of a budget than $6.5 million this time.
3 billion human lives ended on August 29th, 1997.
We didn't think releasing Air Bud would have this big an effect. The film does a good job catching you up and honestly works as a standalone sequel. Many people, including myself, saw this one prior to the first film. My only criticism? It does way too good a job making me want to play the arcade game again. I could have gone to college twice with the amount of quarters that thing guzzled.
Skynet sent 2 Terminators back through time to destroy the leader of the human resistance, John Connor.
Oh, whoops, our bad. This resistance is led by John Walsh.
Police need your help to find a convicted killer.
After an opening credit sequence of again truly unforgettable imagery, we cut to 1991 where the Terminator, played again by Schwarzenegger, is sent back to, well, do some shopping. One of the things I don't think this movie gets enough credit for, the extras are amazing. I mean, even in the best movies, you find some actors who say a line a little weird, but everybody in this is 100% believable. Most films would have everybody react the same way to something like this, but everyone has a unique reaction. Some are shocked, some are confused, many aroused. Told you we were having Austrian Wiener Schnitzel tonight. He takes the clothes from one of the bikers and... Let me make it clear, there was a time when this song was not only used for kid troublemaker movies. And this was after that. The You Could Be Mine song was a better choice. Like before, somebody else is sent back, the T-1000, played by Robert Patrick. This film does a good job tricking you into thinking Arnold is still the bad guy and Patrick is the human hero. Notice, it just looks like he knocks out the cop. We don't know he can change into anything. The clothes you assume he stole as opposed to shapeshift. And even his mannerisms are a lot more human compared to the other Terminators.
He's a good-looking boy. Do you mind if I keep this picture?
No, go on.
For a lot of people, it's a legit surprise when Arnold says get down, as up to that point, you could easily see either as the hero or villain. This brings us to a young John Connor, played by Eddie Furlong, whose step-parents are not thrilled about his rebellious ways.
I swear, I have had it with that goddamn kid. Todd!
What?
He hasn't cleaned that room of his in a month.
Well, you did brownface in Aliens. Nobody's perfect.
Please insert your stolen card now. Draw 300. Yes!
Little does he know his best friend utilizes this hacking technique to become the world's youngest millionaire.
Morning, Sarah.
We're then reintroduced to Sarah Connor, played again by Linda Hamilton. And you know how in the last film the psychiatrist said this?
This is great stuff. I could make a career out of this guy.
Well, I think he did, as he's now one of the head honchos in this mental institution and is probably making even more money on the committed Connor saying the exact same thing.
I'm sure it feels very real to you.
On August 29th, 1997, it's gonna feel pretty fucking real to you too.
At first I was annoyed that she was saying the exact same thing that clearly didn't work for the committed Reese. But the more I thought about it, being the only person who knows when the apocalypse is and lying about it for many years, you would probably crack at some point. In fact, this is one of the few films that repeats a lot of similar lines and actions from the previous movie, but it feels totally natural. When you hear lines in Home Alone 2 like,
Yikes, I did it again.
Well, you got your wish last year, maybe you'll get it again this year.
This ain't like the last time.
it feels forced and phony. So many sequels do this just so you can say, I recognize that thing that was good before, therefore this is good. But in this, it surprisingly feels organic. When they pause the video at a similar time they did with Reese in the first movie, she remembers and knows she has to change her game plan.
They don't exist. I know that now.
When Arnold says,
Come with me if you want to live.
it shows her he's the good guy, but in the most ironic form as what was trying to kill her in the last film. Even the climax, driving two vehicles, they crash and they have to get two new vehicles, resulting in a surprise climax when you think it wrapped up. All of this works because so many of the roles are flipped, like they all have a chance to relive these moments and do them right, redeeming themselves and even the future of humanity. There's only one that feels a little gimmicky.
I'll be back.
But would you be happier with
Talk to the hand.
million stars? With that said, their actions don't always work, as Sarah pretends the Terminator is a delusion, but the doctor isn't falling for it.
I don't see any choice but to recommend you stay here for another 6 months.
Let's see what happens when we take away the puppy.
Meanwhile, at the mall, the Terminator and T-1000 search for John, and I'm not gonna lie, I really wish I could have seen the scene where Arnold bought those roses. Yes, I would like a dozen roses, please.
Here you go.
That's me.
It'll be $18.
Wrong. John plays Afterburner. Oh, my bad. Star Commando. I always confuse the two. As his friend notices, a cop is scoping for him.
Man, there's this cop scoping for you. Check it out.
They found out what we did at Camp Anawana. Anyone else grow up hating this kid? You had one line and you used it to be a narc. Enjoy your stitches. Oh, and you think Batman was the biggest sellout for McDonald's? How about a scene for the Guns N' Roses video that literally has Guns N' Roses? That's like Weekend at Bernie's, literally putting The Weekend at Bernie's.
Hey, hey!
Get down.
Admit it, you always felt sorry for that guy too. I think the moral of the film is if you ever try to do anything good ever, you're gonna bleed. The two Terminators fight with the T-1000 knocking him out. Ooh, the latest foreshadow fashion. And Tom Cruise runs trying to catch up to John. He also might have upgraded his ride. Fun fact, none of the camera crew wanted to get this shot for fear of, well, dying. So Cameron grabbed the camera and took the shot himself. Sports stores don't have as many balls as this guy. Though some shots you can make out the stuntmen a little bit. Hey, I didn't know Van Damme guest starred in this. The chase is still amazing. From the size and scale to the energized editing to that gun trick you gave up trying after 2 times. No, seriously, I got this. It's all CG.
Now, don't take this the wrong way, but you are a Terminator, right?
Yes. Cyberdyne Systems Model 101.
Holy shit.
Something else that's important to point out, the kid in this movie is actually like a real kid. That's not to say this is the first time this has been done, but more often than not, kids in movies were either there for bad one-liners or just to move the story forward. This one acts like a real kid in the 90s. Hell, honestly, any time period.
That her? Yes. She's pretty cool, huh? No, she's a complete psycho.
It's not a mission priority.
You fuck you! She's a priority to me!
He swears, he can be afraid, he fights back, he has legit good insults, he's a little shit, but that's what most kids are around that age. He's played in a way that doesn't get annoying and is extremely relatable, giving him real moments to come to grips with what this new reality means about everything he ever knew.
It's like everything I've been brought up to believe was all made of bullshit. I hated her for that, and nobody believed her. Not even me.
After this film, this was the gold standard in writing a believable child in a mainstream movie. Even give him credit when he tries saving his step-parents despite not liking them.
If you hurry home, we can sit down and have dinner together. I'm making beef stew.
But something seems off when the dog keeps barking. Again, a good callback to the first film.
Honey, are you okay?
I'm right here. I'm fine.
Wonder why I can't do an American accent the rest of the time.
Your foster parents are dead.
And the T-1000 has learned how to make beef stew. Seriously, why does he know how to do that? After teaching the stepdad not to drink out of the carton, the T-1000 continues his search while John figures out the Terminator technically has to do anything he says.
That's one of my mission parameters.
Stand on one foot. Yes!
Now say Red Sonja what's your best movie?
Don't push it, you little shit. I also like this reversal where the kid has to be the adult teaching him why it's wrong to kill.
You just can't go around killing people.
Why?
'Cause you can't.
Why?
Because you just can't.
Why?
I order you to help me.
Okay, I love you. Bye-bye.
John decides to break his mother out of the institution as it looks like Sarah has the same idea. After this weird scene. Tastes like peeking in the 90s. She escapes with a paperclip and the cutest little skip. But meanwhile, the T-1000 tries sneaking in so he can take her out to replace her. Did I mention the CG in this really holds up? Sometimes it looks a little shoddy, but for friggin' 1991, this looks better than some CG effects you see today.
Hey, I got a full house.
Wait until I tell Mr. Clamp. I kind of admire that this is shot like a split screen. Almost like they're indicating they used the same actor to play both parts, but then get shots like this where you realize it had to be twins. Only later to actually duplicate the same actor. This film's goddamn amazing. John and the Terminator show up shortly after.
Gotta promise me you're not gonna kill anyone, right?
Why?
I swear I will not kill anyone.
Well, thanks Skynet for loopholes.
What the hell are you doing?
He'll live.
In other news today, a security guard died due to loss of blood in his legs. Sad and weird. This reunion will be great. This is exactly how it went when they asked her to do Dark Fate.
Help her!
Wait here.
He shoots her in the legs. She'll live. I like that all these guys are clearly knocked out hard, but the security guard is given this treatment.
Well, I'm down for the count. Oh, who am I kidding? I'm just not paid enough to deal with shit like this.
It's okay, Mom. He's here to help. It's okay.
John convinces her that it's okay until it's not okay. Meanwhile, the internet is like, that's good, but it needs more Homer and a bush. As good as the CG effects are, the practical effects are even more mind-blowing, as every time the T-1000 is torn apart, it's always a practical effect. That means this, and even this were all shot in front of the camera. For as groundbreaking as the CG is, they knew they had to combine it with other effects because the eye would get too used to it and would start to look phony. Like, sadly, so much CGI has today because it's been so overused. They fight off the T-1000 and don't take any chances with parts left over. Thank God, I won't have to stuff down there now. Yeah, I'm going out on a dick joke, what about it? A poem by one who should not poem. Hello Fresh, hello. Yum. Delishy, you. With HelloFresh, you get fresh, pre-measured ingredients and mouth-watering seasonal recipes delivered right to your door. Slobbering sound, yes? HelloFresh lets you skip those trips to the grocery store and makes home cooking easy, fun, and affordable. Henceforth, why, it is America's #1 meal kit. Forsooth, HelloFresh offers 10 to 20-minute meals, low prep recipes, and quick breakfasts and lunches. Perfect for your busy schedule. But not what? For thy get better value. HelloFresh is 28% cheaper than shopping at your local grocery store and 72% cheaper than a restaurant meal without sacrificing the quality, beauty, no not wow. Perchance, I am not a good cook, no, but in the deepest, darkest darkness, I find HelloFresh there to win me with easy recipes that even I, myself, me, can cook. Yummy, yum, yum. And now if I present to you a offer, perchance, to have with you, thy viewer. Go to hellofresh.com/critic12 and use the code critic12 for 12 free meals, including free shipping. Repeated thus, that is hellofresh.com/critic12 and use the code critic12 for 12 free meals, including free shipping. For never shall I see a poem as lovely as HelloFresh, except rhyming with C. I say unto you, order now, for the fresh is saying hello. Will thou answer the call? Thank you, thank you. This was my first time poeming. Don't forget to check me out playing Kingdom Hearts Fridays from 6 to 9 on Twitch. Also, we've just added Tamara's Never Seen on Twitch as well, Saturdays at 5. We got content 6 days a week. Hope to see you there. I'm so glad after I gushed how good the effects are, we get arguably the worst rear projection in the movie. Maybe it's like Sin City and Tarantino took over directing for a bit. Hamilton doesn't have any shoes on.
What were you thinking? You cannot risk yourself even for me, do you understand?
Sarah gives John a hard time for coming to save her, causing him to tear up.
What's wrong with your eyes?
Nothing.
I always found it odd that a machine based on biological termination doesn't know what crying is. Though maybe the idea is he knows how, just not why. Either way, what a girly man!
So what's your story?
Meanwhile, the T-1000 searches for a new vehicle.
Say, that's a nice bike.
Well, we have the shtick for the next Terminator all set up. I guess it doesn't help that after I praise the kid dialogue too, these couple of lines here do seem a little Disney afternoon.
You say, no problemo. And if you want to shine them on, it's hasta la vista, baby.
He got 98% of it down when some can't even get 1% of it down. I say cut him a little slack. My God, he actually got to the chopper.
I got you! No, you didn't!
I know I said this film doesn't have the deepest ideas, but that doesn't mean it has none at all. There are some very poignant moments that arguably need to be in a film like this if it's to hold any weight or suspense.
We're not gonna make it, are we? People, I mean.
It's in your nature to destroy yourselves.
Just look at where the franchise goes.
You did it! I told you I'm flipped!
Well, back to making guns look like the coolest goddamn thing in the world.
That's definitely you.
John does continue to bond with the Terminator, forcing Sarah to think back at all the deadbeats she dated in the past.
It would never leave him, never shout at him or get drunk and hit him. This machine was the only one who measured up.
It gives me hope that vibrator technology will advance to raising kids too, then I'd be set. She has, honestly, one of the freakiest dream sequences I can remember growing up, when she sees her past self raising John in what could have been an alternate life. That uniform makes your calves look chunky! Okay, I did that for a reason, to show that a quick cut could still be effective. What's interesting about Cameron, though, is he not only takes it several steps further, but it's several expensive steps further. It isn't just a bright light, it's people set ablaze, the city explodes, countless models are fried, people are nuked into ashes, and even blowing up one of the leads isn't enough, you gotta see her goddamn skeleton! I can't fathom how much a scene like this cost that easily could have been edited out. But you do remember it more, and these images constantly remind you what's at risk and why so many of the grislier scenes are justified. So much so that Sarah's going after the man who's developing the Skynet technology based on the pieces the first Terminator left behind, Miles Dyson, played by Joe Morton. Oh, they also cut the car chase budget down quite a bit. That's right, stop him before he's a part of a horrible monstrosity! John and the Terminator show up and try to stop her, not realizing she herself couldn't go through with the act.
Look at me, Mom. Are you hurt?
You got the wrong house. This is Miles Tyson from the Frozen Meats Company. On the plus side, we might leave with some buffalo chicken dip.
It'll be okay. I'll be okay. I'll figure something out, okay?
I really dig this moment where again the roles are switched and John has to be the parent for a moment, comforting her. Quite different to how she's been treating him throughout half the film. But let's face it, what you remember about this scene is the arm moment. My God, these effects! Again, you know this would all be done with CG today, but knowing they built that arm to look like a real human arm and have an operating mechanical arm under it in the same shot? It's insane the attention to detail this movie has.
Now listen to me very carefully.
Put the cookie down. They catch Dyson up to speed, and it's decided they're all gonna destroy the Skynet technology before it has a chance to destroy humanity. Unfortunately, the guards spot them and they call in as many cops as possible, leading to one of the funnier lines in the movie.
We got company.
Police?
How many?
All of them, I think.
They're led by Captain Kitchen Sink. The Terminator says he'll take care of them without killing anyone. And I had to cross my legs for this scene because this moment gets me so friggin' hard. Oh, it's like if a gun and a punch could have an orgasm. Oh, something about we're not gonna make it. Violence will be our downfall, whatever. Guns, 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 now, now, now! They're set to blow up the place, but are stopped before setting it off. Well, that's a 1991 LA cop moment. The others escape, leaving Dyson's literal last breath setting off the explosions. Again, I legit feel bad whenever somebody dies in this movie. It's like the anti-Wachowski method. The T-1000 works his way in, though, as they work their way out.
Get down on the floor, face down! Down on the floor, now!
Funny, you didn't give that warning to the unarmed man upstairs, but the guy literally covered in bullets? We should follow the book on this one. He grabs himself an Amazon delivery truck and they drive off, with a T-1000 not far behind.
Get out.
Tell my wife I died fighting a Capri Sun commercial!
Chopper's coming in!
It's him.
He chases them down, shooting at them, while he forms a third arm to fly. At least, I hope that's a third arm. And again, we partake in one of the coolest action scenes ever. I still have trouble convincing younger people sometimes that they really did all this. No CG, no removed wires, no models. They just flew a goddamn copter under bridges, over bridges, even into a truck. goddamn unbelievable. The only thing that could make this scene better is this music. They both crash and have to get different vehicles, resulting in my personal favorite badass moment. The T-1000 gets frozen from the liquid nitrogen truck he was driving, leading to a line so famous, I don't think it needs any introduction.
What killed the dinosaurs? The Ice Age!
Kids quoted that for years. But the heat starts to melt the pieces together. I never got why they couldn't just kick them somewhere else. And they tried to get their injured selves to safety.
Oh, come on, Mom, get up, come on.
It's funny, I always assumed the T-1000 was acting cocky, taking his time, but this dude was frozen. Maybe he's still just thawing out. Yeah, that's the thing I did anyway. The T-1000 kills the Terminator, but he has a backup the T-1000 didn't know about?
Alright.
And he tries to take Sarah's form to trick John. Which one do I shoot? Oh, good, one of them will do it for me. They almost knock him into the lava, but no more bullets. See, I can have quips too. But the Terminator, of course, arrives in time and blows him to hell, which I think is where you would see some of this imagery. I also love this weird-ass sound it makes that it's never made before. Did it step on a hive of spider witches? What was that? I like he tries to replicate everything he's transformed into to try and figure a way out, and it also makes him hauntingly surreal nightmare fuel. Why couldn't this be the Navi's design? Now that would look truly alien. We like to thank James Cameron for becoming Terry Gilliam for a few minutes.
I need a vacation.
And Joss Whedon. They burn the material that could give birth to Skynet. Hey, what about the other arm? Don't worry about it, the sequels don't. But it's revealed that it'll never be fully prevented unless the Terminator himself is terminated.
I know now why you cry, but it's something I can never do.
I just learned to do comedy. Tears is not part of the Arnold package. He's slowly lowered into the lava, Alien 3 finally knows what to rip its ending off of, and he even gives his own Siskel and Ebert review of the movie going down. It's okay, honey, we'll just buy you a new Terminator. Or a GoBot or something. The film ends with the uncertain future rolling ahead, not sure if what they did will save humanity or not. Which is quite different from the original ending they had, where they clarified the future is 100% safe.
1997 came and went. Nothing much happened. Michael Jackson turned 40.
He looks like he has 10 more years in him. It's funny because I didn't really like this ending because it didn't leave it open if the future was altered. If anything, the first film indicated it can't be altered, but now I look at this thinking, well, it could have saved us some pretty unnecessary follow-ups.
Tiny, Grandma, tiny.
Because if a machine can learn the value of human life, maybe we can too.
I think people would have seen it as corny if it stopped here though, so maybe it's a pick your poison type deal. For me though, Terminator 2 is about as perfect an action film as you can get. Because it isn't just the action that's so good in it. Its acting is fantastic. I'm kinda shocked no Oscar nods ever came out of it. The direction is poignant, the callbacks are earned, the threats feel real, the effects are still brilliant, and everybody in it is charming and likable. Anytime it starts to lean towards something maybe a little too silly, it balances out with the intimidating moments that are intense and suspenseful. The same way the first Terminator was chosen by the Library of Congress to go into the National Film Registry to be preserved, I think this film should too. It's not one of the Citizen Kanes of drama, but I would argue it's one of the Citizen Kanes of action, and action does play a big part in entertainment. It's timeless in so many ways great films should be timeless, and despite it still being massively popular, I think it deserves more respect for the impact that it had. So keep watching it, keep talking about it, and let's never let the respect for this amazing movie ever die. I'm a Nostalgia Critic guy, remember, so you don't have to.
You just can't go around killing people.
Why?
Hey, Doug Walker here doing the charity shout-out. This is another recommendation. Thank you all so much for that. This is Critter Connection. And Critter Connection is a local nonprofit animal rescue group dedicated to saving homeless, neglected, abused, and abandoned animals in the upstate area based in, hopefully I'm saying this right, Spartanburg, South Carolina. Members foster the animals in their homes, allowing them to be able to inform their potential adopters of each animal's unique personality and behavior in a home environment instead of a shelter atmosphere. Critter Connection operates solely on the fundraising efforts, adoption fees, and donations, and their animals are fully vetted before adoption. So as you can see, this is a really good organization looking out for a lot of animals that have been neglected and deserve another chance. So if you want to check them out, go to the link. If you want to donate, please do. If not, just spread the word as always. So go check them out, see all the great things that they do, and I will see you next time. Take care.